Today we are going to be making a picadillo that is very delicious. It's packed with simple ingredients, but it is also very flavorful. This is really easy to make at home, and trust me, your family will love this one. As the title says, we will need 1 pound of ground beef. Now this is 90-10. This is more on the lean side. If you want to use 80-20, it's going to have a little bit more fat, but you're probably going to have to drain some of that. You can use 95-5 for this. Also, we will need about 3 russet potatoes. I just cut these in little portions. I kind of want these to be a little bit bigger because our ground beef isn't going to be real much, so this is going to give our bite. Got half of an onion, 1 bell pepper, and 3 Roma tomatoes. 2 nice sized garlic cloves, 1 sliced up jalapeno, just to add some flavor, not a whole lot of kick. Now the chili powder that I'm going to be adding, this is 1 tablespoon of California chili powder. This chili powder is not spicy, it's very flavorful, and it adds a great color to your food. 2 teaspoons of oregano, about a half of a can of corn, along with 2 teaspoons of Knorr's beef bouillon, along with just a little bit of water just to make this soupy. Now in a large pan, let's go ahead and set our heat to medium. Okay, let's lay down just a little bit of cooking oil. The first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna lay down our beef. What we wanna do is break this up. Just little by little, just keep hacking at it and it'll all break apart eventually. Especially as it starts cooking, you'll be able to break it apart. Okay, we're gonna season with just a little bit of salt. We'll finish off salt at the end, but I like to just season just a little bit. Make sure that our meat gets seasoned up a little bit. And some freshly cracked black pepper. Now you could add some garlic powder to this if you'd like, but since I'm using whole garlic, I won't be doing that today. Now at this point, just be sure to break up your ground beef into smaller pieces. Okay, so once you get most of it broken up, we're gonna cook this through and then we're gonna add in our onion, bell pepper, onions, and jalapeno to this, and the garlic. Now we're gonna add in our bell pepper, onion, and tomatoes, along with our garlic, our jalapenos. Now we're gonna just saute this down until those onions start to get nice and translucent and these tomatoes start to break up a little bit. I like to cook down the tomatoes to where I could pretty much just press it and it like crushes into juice. That's what we want. We want the juice of the tomato. And then all we have to really do is add just a little bit of water just to bring this thing all together once we put everything together. I'm gonna let this cook for just a few more minutes. And once those look good, then we'll move on to the next step. Just be sure to stir this occasionally because we want everything to cook evenly. And we're just gonna be extracting a lot of those flavors. We got the jalapeno, peppers, tomatoes, onions in there with the garlic. And we want these tomatoes, they're already starting to, especially if you got some ripe tomatoes, if you look right here, see right here, if I'm starting to crush it, now it becomes more like a water. That's what we want. We want the juice of the tomato. Now, some of these that were on the bottom, they're already starting to break up. That's what we're looking for. So we want these tomatoes to break up for us. That way we can get the juice of the tomatoes. I'm gonna let this go for a couple more minutes. Let this stuff just do its thing. All right, we're starting to look good. We got some nice heat. Look at, as you can see, look at these tomatoes. Just breaking up. That's what we want. All right, so I'm gonna just probably a couple more minutes. These tomatoes are looking really good. I like to have a little bite of tomato also, so don't think that you have to do this to every single tomato. But I had 2 really ripe tomatoes, and those I kind of want to break down. As you can see, look at all the juices that we're getting now. We got a lot of juices from the onions and everything, but a lot of it's coming from those tomatoes as I'm breaking them down. I think another few minutes just to kind of cook everything in, blend all those flavors, and then we'll add a little bit of water, add our potatoes and corn, and add some more of our seasoning, and we should just let this braise. So I'll see you back in a couple more minutes. All right, so now we're gonna be adding in our oregano. Now I like to kind of pinch this as I put it in. Kind of grinds it a little bit. If you have ground oregano, that'll work too. Just put it all in your hand and just spread it out just like that. Now we're gonna add in our beef bouillon. Just to add some of that beef flavor and also that Mexican MSG, our California chili powder. Give this a nice little mix. Blend a lot of those new flavors that we just added. I'm gonna add about a couple pinches of minced up cilantro, just to add some color and a little bit of flavor, a little bit of freshness. Okay, now we're gonna add in half a can of our corn, and finally our potatoes. Now I had some water in the potatoes just so they didn't discolor, that way don't oxidize and stuff. So probably just be adding just a tad bit more water. I want to say I had about a cup of water in that bowl of potatoes. All right, so we shocked our temperature. I'm actually gonna bring the temperature up to about medium high heat. So I got about 1 cup of water here. Just kind of want to bring that above the tomatoes, or the potatoes, I'm sorry. I think that'll do it. About another cup of water. I'm gonna mix this well. I'm gonna let this come back to temperature because I did shock the temperature with some new water and also those potatoes. As this is coming up to temperature, right now all we gotta do is just check for seasoning. We have pretty much everything in there. The only thing that we're doing at this point is we're gonna reduce down a little bit of this liquid and cook those potatoes where they're nice and tender. So I'm gonna try this out for some seasoning. Okay, so at this point, pretty much just season with salt to your taste. Okay, we're gonna give this a mix. Mix in that salt. All right, check your seasoning. If you feel it needs more, just add it to your taste, like I said. That's actually perfect for me. So what I'm gonna do at this point, I'm gonna turn this back down to about medium heat. I'm gonna stir occasionally. You wanna make sure that your potatoes are submerged in the water. I want this liquid to reduce down a little bit, but at the same time, I wanna cook these potatoes. So it'll be roughly about 20 minutes or so. Okay, so it's been on medium heat this whole time, and it's been about 15 minutes. Now all we have to do is just really check the potatoes. Now, if they're not tender yet, we're gonna be covering it. Let's say a little bit more. Like I want to bite out of it, but not like, you know, a raw bite. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover this for about, we'll put it to about medium-low heat. We're gonna cover this for about a few minutes. I'll check on it in about 5 minutes. All right, let's go ahead and check out our potatoes. Stir this up a little bit. Actually, I believe we are done. I could just see how this potatoes tearing apart. That is perfect. Nice tender potato. Give this a mix. Look at that goodness, folks. With some corn tortillas, a nice salsa, rice and beans, ooh, and some queso fresco right to go on top. So, I got some kids that are hungry. Let's go ahead and plate a dish. Look at that, y'all. Some Mexican fried rice and some beans with a little bit of chorizo. I got both of these videos on my Mexican playlist. Good portion. You also want to get a lot of those juices too. Right about there, folks. Now, I hope I send this off with a happy kid. So now let's heat up some tortillas and get to eating. Now my favorite part, y'all, got a little bit of queso fresco right there on top. All right, first we're gonna start off by a little bit of beans. Man, these beans have been eyeing me. Some beans with chorizo, a little bit of garlic in there. All right, for the main dish. A little bit of queso fresco on there. Just a hearty dish, y'all. Packed with flavor. Nice and filling. Cheers, y'all. You can eat it like this, but I'm gonna add some salsa to it. A little bit of red salsa. Make it pop a little bit, just a little bit more kick. I really don't taste the jalapeno that I put in here, but the flavors on this is phenomenal. Really good stuff. Now I got these two side dishes on my playlist. They're really good stuff, y'all. Nice flaky Mexican rice. You gotta have that in your recipe drawer. My mama's recipe, actually. Actually, she changed it up. I might show you guys that one. If you're new to my channel, consider hitting the subscribe button. That way you see future videos just like this. As always, I'll leave the recipe in the video description. That way you can try this recipe at home. Now y'all be beautiful, and God bless.